Hi, I'm Kevin Harrington. I'm here with my co-host, Forbes Riley. She's a celebrity television host, fitness and health expert.
And you might recognize Kevin Harrington as one of the original sharks on Shark Tank, and I think one of the country's leading entrepreneurs. So I'm very excited about today's show because they were focused on women.
Women?
Well, there's never enough women speakers or leaders, and that always inspires me when somebody says, hey, you know what, I'm going to step up to the plate.
Marilyn Suey is an unbelievable guest today.
She is.
She's a speaker, author, coach, mentor, also she has her MBA from Wharton. How unbelievable. But she's a wealth manager, too. So how about that?
Do you know what? I'm loving your book. You gave it to me a while ago, and it's called 36 Quick Tips for Savvy Women. Again, I know you don't need this, but your beautiful wife and the women in your organization.
Oh, yeah.
It's talking about taking control of your work, your wealth, and your worth. Welcome to the show, my love.
Thank you for having me.
Good to
it's
be
a
here.
pleasure
Thanks,
to be here with you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for taking time to spend with me.
Now, you're on fire about what you do, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Tell us
yes,
about
I
it.
am. I started my business about 15 years ago, and I started it because when I was a C-level executive working in corporate America, I'd earned my MBA from Wharton. Thank you for saying that, and it opened a lot of doors for me. Thank you. And I noticed that I had some very successful exits during my venture capital-backed career.
You live in the San Francisco Bay Area, so
Yes,
there's
so
a lot of
that's the
venture out there, right?
venture, and I'm grateful that I had that opportunity and the ability to do so. But I noticed when I hired my financial advisors, they really focused on investments only, and the fact that they talked about the performance. And of course, in those days, things were going quite well. Now, what I found that the total picture, my financial house, the things about myself, my family, those really didn't come into the picture. They were kind of in the background. So when I started my business as a wealth manager, I said, you know, I really want to serve business owners, entrepreneurs, and C-level executives like myself, but I really want to help them put their total financial picture in order, get their house in order, help them get organized. And the way I did that was I got several designations, a certified financial planning designation, something called an accredited investment fiduciary. So that was important. And those two things together say that when I work with my clients, I put their interests first before mine.
Right.
So that's my fiduciary duty to anybody that I serve.
That's important because so many times, as I deal with people in the financial advice arena, they're selling me something, or I'm having to, you know, buy commission-oriented things, and you know that's not all bad, but you know sometimes there's a reason why it goes in that direction.
Right. So we are careful when we work with our clients. We want to make sure that we take their entire, if you will, their entire background into effect. We do something called a free financial assessment, and with that, we go through their entire history, as much as they want to share with us, and then we put together their prosperity blueprint. And from that blueprint, then we decide, here's some things that you might want to do, here's some things that you may want to consider, and then you can decide whether or not we're a great fit to work with.
Well, you know, I've heard you speak, and you speak to large corporations, you speak to small groups, and you get great results whenever you do both. But I heard you say a word in the financial planning world that I'd actually never heard of before, and that was you having a holistic approach.
Yes.
Now, when a doctor says that in the health industry, they mean they look at the whole picture. Holistic financial, I don't know what that means.
So part of our fiduciary duty is to make sure that we look at your whole picture. So imagine you go to your cardiologist, and what does he or she do for you? They look at your entire health system, they look at your heart, they say, how is this working together? We do the same thing for your financial picture, your financial house.
So if somebody's listening to this, when you say your entire financial house, I obviously could use a little help here as I'm listening to her going, What aspects of that do you focus on?
We focus on, well, the big picture would be, you know, what's your lifestyle? You know, what's your lifestyle cost you to live? You know, I call it designing your ideal lifestyle, starting today, tomorrow, and for life. So we look at what it costs you to live your lifestyle, where your income is generated from, very big picture on taxes. You know, how much taxes are you paying, and do you like to pay taxes?
Well, I like roads and government and police, so I'm going to say yeah, I'm paying my share.
Okay, but
Maybe more than my share, darn it.
I probably do. So we are very careful about making sure that we look at your tax picture. We also take a look at for those who now that the exemption for estate planning is a little higher, but we still look and make sure that here are the ways that you can take care of the people and the causes that you care about deeply, because in fact, your wealth is really more than your money, right? It is your money, but it's about your family, it's about your community, and it's about those things that, you know, are in your heart.
So I have to share something with you, because women notoriously, and not to put us down, but I've seen this, and I know you have, but in a marriage situation, aren't the ones to step up, maybe don't know what happens. And I personally, in my life, have experienced some tragedies where people weren't very conversational about what was where, who left what to whom. You have some powerful stories where if they had had your services, they would have been better off.
Right. I have, let me start with the one story that was a success. Friends and clients who recently retired to Ohio, we had done a free financial assessment for them about 5 or 6 years ago. We put together the blueprint and we said, you know, there's a couple things you may want to tweak, you may want to consider. And I said, if you're thinking about retiring in the next, you know, 3 to 5 years, you may want to start really committing to putting more money away, because that will help you. And fortunately, in the last 5 or 6 years, certainly investments have done a little better. So this couple, unfortunately, they did all those things that we had talked about. Unfortunately, Ken died earlier this year, unexpectedly. However, because of the planning work that we had discussed and they had put in action, his wife, Mary, now is left with a house that's paid off. She, you know, sadly, of course, can, you know, live the lifestyle that she desires, and we're putting together now what I called it in the post process, making sure that all her investments, all the things that she needs to take care of herself for the next 30 to 35 years.
Because imagine if she hadn't. And that's the other side of the story. And that's where I want people listening to hear this. If you don't have your financial house in order, devastation can happen. Whether you get sick and don't realize it, or the market changes, or something happens, you could lose everything if you don't plan for it.
Right. And I have another story for you where the planning probably wasn't as transparent as that needed to be. So Karen and Dan, they are not clients, but she's become a very good friend of mine. She and her husband lived in the outskirts of Pittsburgh. He was a high-level executive at a Fortune 500 company, doing quite well. And as she related to me, she thought that they had their financial house in order. However, in this case, her husband did make most of the decisions and took care of most of those things. So when, unfortunately, he was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's, and he did continue to work for a number of years. However, during the Great Recession, the company went through a layoff, and he was caught up in that layoff. Now, what Karen and Dan didn't probably totally understand was that they didn't control the asset protection area of their life, like the disability, like life insurance, and in this case, they didn't have any long-term care. And his condition did worsen, so he did move to assisted living 2 or 3 years after his layoff.
And what did it do to their financial situation?
It basically brought them to their knees. They downsized their house. They did everything they could to stave off using all their assets. And unfortunately, over the last 7 or 8 years, they did go through all their assets. Now, the good news was he did get his pension, and he was on Social Security disability, but that's not enough to really sustain the lifestyle that they had experienced.
Your management of a system like that would be, he was in a corporate environment. When he exited, he should have maybe negotiated some better exit strategies, right? So you actually bring in, you're a wealth manager, but you bring in the right legal team. You've kind of got to have a dream team that you surround yourself with to help with wills and the legal aspects and contractual and all the different things that are necessary really to protect these clients in the future.
Right. We have an advisory team of experts, both, as I said, in the CPA area, in the legal team, and also for our ultra-high net worth clients. We also want to make sure that their liability and casualty arenas are protected. You'll be surprised, in California, it's a pretty litigious state. So we make sure that we have at least a half a dozen advisors in those areas, plus in the mortgage and in the banking. I have a special banking as well.
I have an important question, because on Shark Tank, people would come in, they believe they're going to be future wealth people, okay? So, you know, a wealth manager manages people that have wealth. Do you take someone on that is maybe going to have some wealth and kind of help them get that wealth possibly, or save more money, or advise them how to put their assets into the right places?
Because usually it's a lot of money before we get to someone like you.
Right. Right. So what I have done in my practice is I have a big heart, and I was an entrepreneur, and I am a business owner now. I love working with smart, intelligent entrepreneurs. And so we will, obviously, we'll take a meeting with an entrepreneur, and we'll just see if it's a right fit. And like I said, if they have the right emotional intelligence and they're willing to delegate some of that responsibility, we're happy to work with them. We'll find a way to make that work.
Now, you know, we talk about women. This is a passion of yours. Tell me a little bit about the book, which, by the way, I understand that for all the listeners of this program now, you have created a free offering, yes?
Yes.
What is that?
Well, the free offering for the financial planning part is 5 quick tips to get your financial house in order. And you can get that by clicking on the link below.
Okay, so you guys know that right below there's a link that you look at and get your 5 free tips. But you've also, because we're so wonderful, you sell your book for $9. You giving this one also to us?
Right.
I'm giving this one.
So,
I don't think I'm allowed to get the book. It's not for
Give
me.
it to your
because
wife.
okay,
No,
okay.
no, shame on you. You have a
Okay.
beautiful wife, you have a mother, you have children, you have
All right.
nieces, you have a new grandbaby girl.
Yes, thank
36 quick tips for savvy women.
Yes.
And I don't mean to exclude you, but we need a little help. And to that end, you've put together a community of women.
yes.
Tell me about this.
So in the Bay Area, I'm very passionate about serving women, and whether they're clients or not, by the way. So this is a community that I'm building, and I want to be able to help them with areas of work or career, and whether you're working for a living or whether you're taking care of your family, it doesn't matter because you have a passion in your heart for the things that you do every day. Obviously the wealth factor, because as Forbes and I have talked, women need to really step up, be educated, become more confident, be able to make those decisions in case there is something that happens to them.
It's funny, it's not like we're smart. Not smart, it's like we're not smart. I don't think many of us focus on that, or we've delegated it, or we share it with our partner, and we're more willing to. I don't think as a man you would ever let someone else just run you wouldn't actually know, I don't know where my money is.
Right. No.
It's more ingrained in you, and to the point, you went to the Wharton School of Business, which I believe is the school, got your MBA there, but you went back and met with some women that I think surprised even you.
Yes. So I went, the reason why I wrote this book, and it was on a peak of frustration, was I went to a networking of about 100 women from Harvard and Wharton a couple of years ago, and I was a little surprised at the questions they were asking. Now, these women were younger than me. I had gone to Wharton some years ago, and what they were asking was, you know, how do I get a raise? How do I get noticed by my boss? How do I matriculate through the corporate world? There were some other questions, but those 3 really intrigued me, and I thought, well, wait a second. And when I went to Wharton, there were no women's networking groups, first of all. There were very few women in the class, let alone graduating. And I thought, you know, gee, we had to go out and make it happen.
Right.
You know, we had to raise our hand. So what I'm saying, much like Sheryl Sandberg, you have to sort of lean in. You got to raise your hand and you got to go for it.
Because, and again, it's fascinating about being a woman in a man's world. I wear a lot of high heels and a short dress, but I definitely want to be respected and looked at as an equal. But you said something, taking control of your work, your wealth, but your worth. I don't ever hear men worrying about their worth.
So it's important. I believe, and I feel that women we have so many roles that we play in our life. We take care of our kids, we take care of our spouses, our partners. We want to run a business, we want to be the best that we can be.
Right.
Sometimes in here, the little worth factor, we have to work on it. Now, I don't know, Kevin, for you, does that ever come up for you, or do you just go every day?
I just go every day.
And I'll tell you what, part of it's about being a guy and being successful. And we as women have that little thing where, and I see very successful women sometimes go, And that's what I love about your passion, your commitment, and even just working with women to get to understand what wealth is.
Exactly. So we make sure that we bring in speakers on both career, and in fact, this one we're having one of our assembly women come in and talk about her career and how she got from being an attorney, being a mom, raising a family, and now running for office. She's very successful. We're also going to have some folks besides myself, and I have a colleague in banking. We're very passionate about helping business owners in our local arena. And then I have a woman who's 70 who's going to talk about ageless living.
Love it.
And she's a health and wellness expert. So every quarter, we're bringing and adding more value and raising up our community of women.
What's so impressive about Marilyn is that she actually keeps talking about whether they're a client or not.
I know.
You just help people. You want to go out. You put these programs together, and hey, if it makes sense that maybe there'll be a client,
right,
then it happens, and that's such a great attitude to have in business.
We live in the theory of abundance.
Yeah.
So we put it out there. Right. We do our very best. We be the best person that we can be, and I know it comes back, and it's come back a lot over the last couple of years.
That's fantastic.
I am a personal huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
And the work that you're doing. Is there one final thing you might say to somebody out there who's like, I don't know if I should get started? What would you say to that person?
I would say take stock of your personal situation. Take a look around you. If you're running a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, or if you are an entrepreneur and you're busy, you really have to take care of yourself first, because to be the best you've got to take care of you, and that's both health and wealth. So
just to remind you one more time, the tip right below, you get 5 free tips. You're also going to get her 36 quick tips. I actually already have this book, so go ahead and give that to your...
I'll give this to my wife.
There you go.
Thank you.
Great.
And anyone else that you know, refer them, because we women, we need this, and we need you, Marilyn. I want to thank you very much. If we're in the San Francisco area...
Thank you,
Marilyn.
please.
Excellent,
Please. Thank you very much. Thank you for
great to
having
meet
me.
you.
All right, and for Kevin and myself, we'll see you guys again next time.